Good morning, everybody. Let's talk a little Star Wars before I get ready for work and have to slave away for the day. Something I'm not looking forward to today, but I'm going to get it out of the way. And then I've got till Wednesday, Thursday off, so I should be on quite a bit playing some Battlefront 2. And then also I'm going to be doing a lot more of just doing more like this, just sitting around talking Star Wars, talking life, all that type of stuff. Things that I've wanted to do on this channel for quite a while, but really haven't been getting around to. So that's the game plan. But the agenda for right now is talking about Mandalorian Season 3. And there's been some kind of news, even though it's nothing official, nothing that Disney's actually came out and said. But Tamara Morrison did talk to Collider and kind of gave hints that the Mandalorian Season 3 really hasn't even begun filming yet. And it looks like it won't start filming until the end of this year or maybe at the beginning of 2022. Which means that Mandalorian Season 3 probably won't be out until the end of 2022. And actually, I think it's kind of a good thing. I'm actually pretty excited that there's going to be this kind of 2-year gap in between seasons. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. But make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit like on the video. That really helps with the algorithms and all that. But so my main reason that I'm kind of excited about this is, when it comes to television overall, when something's a hit, there's this tendency with like networks to try to cash in on that. And even if the creators and the creative people don't really have a vision for what it's going to go forward, and then there becomes this race against the clock to put out a season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like some of the shows like Lost, where I think the creators had a vision for what the overall story was going to be, which wasn't going to be that many seasons. And so in later seasons, it kind of felt like it just wasn't the same series. So with the Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, it felt like a cohesive season. Hold on just a second. I just totally screwed that up. Hold on just a second. I want to make sure that this is actually live. Do I still have it on private? I hope I don't. That would be funny. That would be funny. I think I did switch it to public though. Haha. Yeah, ha ha ha. That was kind of funny. I just freaked myself out for no reason. But what I was going to say is Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 seemed like a story that Jon Favreau and Filoni had put together that they wanted to tell overall. It was the story of Din Djarin and Grogu and them growing together, but then also Din Djarin learning to let go. It was kind of also a story where Din Djarin grew as a person and as a Mandalorian and realized he started questioning a lot of his own beliefs. And I think that story ended. I think that there's, season 1 and 2 is one combined story. And, Disney Plus or, Lucasfilm could have definitely made a decision that they were going to just push out a third season right away. And honestly, like if they did, everybody probably would have watched it and everybody would have been excited. But it's a very good chance that season would have been rushed. They would have just tried to come up with the story, not given it time to kind of percolate in their minds and really make a good decision on what that story should be, where the character should go, and all that stuff. But the fact that there's going to be probably 2 years in between, and more than likely, could be longer. We don't know for sure that it's only going to be 2 years. We just pretty much probably know that there is going to be a continuation of Din Djarin's story, and there's going to be a Mandalorian Season 3. But there isn't going to be this pressure to just put another season out every year. And which means it's probably going to be higher quality. It's going to be a better story. And what I'm really kind of hoping is, if they kind of go with this trend with, Favreau, like maybe creating a couple seasons at a time and having a story for a couple seasons at a time, it wouldn't surprise me if we had, season 3 and 4 of The Mandalorian come out in 2022 and 2023. And then maybe even, maybe if he has a 3-season arc, maybe it would be longer. But it won't surprise me if in The Mandalorian and other Disney Plus Star Wars shows, if we do have this trend of maybe having a season or two back-to-back years and then having a break and then coming out with further seasons after that as the creators decide on specific stories they want to tell over 16, 24 episodes or however long it's going to be, but then don't really put too much thought beyond that. And the reason why I think this is how many seasons there's going to be, I think there's going to be as many seasons as Favreau needs to tell the complete story of Din Djarin as he wants it told. And I hope that that's the way it is. I hope it's not going to be dictated specifically by Disney saying, this is a successful series, we want it to continue to go no matter what. Hopefully it's just literally Favreau has an end in mind of where he wants Din Djarin to be at the end of the series. And he just has to figure out how many seasons it's going to take to get him there. If it goes beyond that, and that's where the show's going to really suffer, because it won't really truly be the vision that Favreau has for him, and Filoni by his side. But I really hope that Disney Plus and Lucasfilm and in all the series, whether it's the Marvel shows and all that, I hope that they have this kind of formula where the shows last as long as they need to tell the story, and that's it. And they allow those stories to be fully told. And then if there's another story to be told after that, then they can continue with it. And you know what, with Mandalorian season 3, I mean, there's always a possibility that there is no story to tell of Din Djarin after Mandalorian season 2. There's always a chance that we've come out and we find out that Din Djarin's story is maybe expanded upon later on, but it's not even a Mandalorian season 3. Maybe there's always a possibility that it's going to be called something else. It's a different show. WandaVision is a perfect example of kind of how how I think that Disney Plus is going to handle these stories. That was a successful series. The way network television used to work, they would be working on right now figuring out a way of having a WandaVision season 2. The way things were done in the past, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They would be finding a way to do a WandaVision season 2. But the thing is, the story doesn't allow for that. It would be forced if they try to do that. And that's why I'm glad. I mean, it's pretty much everybody at Marvel, whether it's Elizabeth Olsen or anybody else that's really talked about it, has made it very clear there isn't a WandaVision season 2. Her story is going to continue to be told in other medium. And that doesn't mean that we won't ever get another series on Disney Plus with the characters of Wanda and Vision in it. It just isn't going to be called WandaVision. It's not going to be that format. And that's what I'm saying is like Mandalorian season 3, which I do believe there's going to be. I believe there's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 seasons. Actually, I think Favreau said something about having like 5 seasons mapped out. But I think there's going to be 3, 4, or 5 seasons. Maybe more if they need to have more to tell the combined story. But they're not going to come necessarily concurrently. They're not going to come every single year. They're going to come at the pace they need to tell the story that they need to tell. And the other part of this too is that we have to remember the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka series, and if the Rangers of the New Republic actually ends up coming out, or if they replace that with a different show in that time period, all of them are going to culminate in a huge event. A huge event that honestly would be really cool is if they actually had that as a movie. It would be really awesome if they built this combined story with all these characters, and then at the end it was on the big screen. That would be actually pretty awesome. Because movies don't really give us enough time for character development, but if we've already seen these characters develop in their own shows and crossing over into each other's shows, then a movie I think would work really, really well. So Mandalorian season 3, maybe even above and beyond maybe them wanting more time to develop Mandalorian season 3, there's actually a pretty legitimate chance that they need what's going to come out in the Book of Boba Fett to help further the story of the overall arc more, and it just might make more sense for them to get Book of Boba Fett out first and then produce and work on the Mandalorian season 3 and have it just come out in a certain order. There's always a good chance of that, even though I don't think the other 2 series, because there's probably going to be 2 other series that are coming out early 2022, we're looking at Andor and Obi-Wan, and I think they'll spread those out enough so that there isn't this huge gap. So it wouldn't surprise me if, if Book of Boba Fett ends in early 2022 or late 2021, for there to be a couple month gap, and then we get Andor, and then maybe and once that's over, a couple month gap, and then we get Obi-Wan series, and then that leaves a little bit more time in between Obi-Wan and Mandalorian season 3. But I was gonna say that I don't think the Obi-Wan series and the Andor series are probably gonna affect Mandalorian season 3 story-wise, but we never know. I mean, it would be kind of interesting if maybe there were some story beats that somehow, some way connected to it, and that maybe those stories are, maybe there's characters introduced in those stories that it's going to be necessary for them to come out first before Mandalorian season 3. That's the exciting thing about this. We have no clue. We don't know where the story's going. I mean, going into season 2 of The Mandalorian, we had a really good idea of where that story was going to go because we knew what Din Djarin's mission was. We knew it was to find the Jedi, or a lot of people speculated find Baby Yoda's species and get Baby Yoda, and now we know his name is Grogu, to the right people. We knew that was the mission of season 2 of the Mandalorian. Season 3, there's ways we could speculate. There's probably a good chance it's going to have to do with the dark saber with Bo-Katan, whether there's going to be a fight between those two. There's a good chance that there's going to be maybe a storyline of them getting Mandalore back under control, get it rebuilt and all that stuff, with either Bo-Katan or Din Djarin as the leader of the Mandalorians. There's a very good chance of that, but we don't know. It wasn't set up as well as what season 2 of The Mandalorian was set up. So there's a lot of excitement for me in knowing that this series could go pretty much anywhere it wants, which means that Favreau and Filoni are free to really put some time and thought into what story they want to tell, especially after being able to see what the feedback was and the reaction was from fans on season 1 and 2. Which is another thing that's really kind of exciting for this Disney Plus stuff with Favreau and Filoni, is I truly, even though I don't think that they're going to take the fans' comments and then create a story around the fans' comments, they do care what fans think. Whereas somebody like Rian Johnson made it very clear he wanted to tell the story that he wanted to tell, and he didn't care what the fans thought. And this isn't a sequel bashing session or anything like that, but some of the toxicity in the fan base started with The Last Jedi, and that movie I think was so divisive because of Rian Johnson's desire to tell his story and not caring what fans thought and not caring about fans' expectations at all, which puts us in the situation we are now with the fandom, where everybody's divided and there's a lot of toxicity. So I think that with the Disney Plus stuff, I think that, once again, they're not going to take and look at comments and what people like and don't like and create a story specifically to make fans happy, but they're going to take into that in consideration so that they make something that most fans are going to enjoy. I mean, because really, that's their job. Their job is to make a show and make shows that are good in quality and tell good stories, but also things that people are going to want to watch, so that people sign up for Disney Plus or continue to sign up for it and don't drop out. And if they're not caring what fans think, then they're not doing their job, because people aren't going to continue on with their Disney Plus subscription. But 2022, late 2022 sounds like it's when Mandalorian season 3 is going to probably come out. That's probably going to start filming at the end of this season, or at the end of this season, this year, or the beginning of next year. And I think, what'll be interesting is to see if maybe the Ahsoka series starts filming maybe right after Mandalorian season 3 starts filming, and then we get Ahsoka at the maybe second quarter of 2023, and then or and then it continues that way, where there's 2 or 3 live action series every single year spread out throughout the year, and we're just gonna almost always have something Star Wars being in production throughout the year. So we'll have a lot of news and speculation to happen within the Star Wars fandom. So anyways, that's what I've got for today. Decided to do just a quick little chat. Want to start doing this a lot more. So yeah, good talk, guys. Anyways, may the force be with you. Peace out, y'all.